Giants absolutely embarrassed the Philadelphia Eagles by 3 possessions, 34-17 on Thursday Night Football. This is now 2 losses in 5 days for Philadelphia, Marcus. What were you thinking as you watched this game? Give me some of your takeaways, because I definitely saw the text when I woke up this morning, and I was like, yeah, they are definitely getting it handed to them on national television. Well, I don't know if Prime Video's national television with all these paywalls in the NFL, but
Yeah.
take off.
If you're a New York Football Giant fan, you have to feel really, really good about this win. Jaxson Dart comes out
Indeed.
there, scores the first touchdown of the game. It was a 19-yard scramble, I believe. That was great. They come right back after that next drive with a touchdown pass to Wan'Dale Robinson, right? A great catch and run by
Sleeper
him.
receiver in that offense.
Really, really good. Cam Skattebo, a hat trick, 19 carries, over
How did
100
he fall
yards.
fourth round, bro?
I mean, I don't understand. No, listen, I was not at all like a Cam Skattebo guy, but he fits in great with this
Yeah.
offense, and it makes you anxiously await the return of Malik Neighbors to see
Oh,
Jaxson
yeah.
Dart, Cam Skattebo, and Malik Neighbors. That might
Oh,
be
yeah.
next 3 to 5 years the best triplet in the NFL. When I say
Very well
triplet, I'm
could be.
talking about guys like Aikman and Smith and Irvin, guys like Big Ben and Antonio Brown, Le'Veon Bell. You know what I mean? Like
Right.
that's how good they
Big
can.
names.
Aaron Rodgers, Devontae Adams, Aaron Jones. Like that's how good I think they can be. Maybe not winning those championships the way that those triplets did, but really, really good potential there. The other thing too I kept thinking about is I remember when you had me on the show around the draft and we were doing like our player comps, and people ripped me to shreds for saying that Jaxson Dart is this generation's Baker, or like this draft class's version of Baker Mayfield, right? Like a
Swagger
guy
backs
who
it up.
who's very like swag through the roof, right?
Yeah.
Like there is not a cooler, I would say, quarterback in the NFL, young quarterback in the NFL right now than
Yeah.
Jaxson Dart, right? There's not a tougher quarterback in the NFL right now, young quarterback in the NFL right now than Jaxson Dart, and he backs it up with his play, man. I mean, like he's not afraid to take hits. There's his one pass he threw. It was in the end zone. It was dropped, but it was a great throw where he drops
Yeah.
back. He kind of rolls to his right, steps up in the pocket, and just almost does like a little jump pass to the back of the end zone. Number 89. Number 89 had it. It was perfectly placed ball, but he just dropped it. Like we
Yeah.
saw a lot of that from Jaxson Dart. As for the Eagles, this is proof that what I've been saying has been true all season, which is that they should not have a win on the ledger, right?
Mm.
CeeDee Lamb
Yeah.
drops 4 passes. If he catches just one of those, the Cowboys win that game in week 1, right?
Yeah.
Then you
1-1.
go to week 2. And what game was that in week 2? Was that
They played in week 2.
who they play in week 2? It wasn't the
That
Rams.
wasn't the Rams.
Who was that?
I can't
They
remember off
played
the top
the
of my
Chiefs in
head.
week 2. Or maybe they did play
Yeah,
the
yeah,
Rams.
they did. They did. Super Bowl rematch in
They
week
played
2.
the Chiefs in week 2,
And it wasn't a
if it worked,
primetime game.
and it wasn't that's why it's forgettable, because it was the primetime game. They played the
Yeah.
Chiefs in week 2, and if not for like just Travis Kelce not catching the ball on the goal line, they lose that game. Then you take it takes them 2 blocked field goals to beat
Right.
the Rams. It
Right.
takes a bad decision by Baker Mayfield on what would have been a game-winning drive against the Bucs
Right.
to lose that game. Then, of course, they lose to the Broncos. They lose to the Giants. They're 4-2 because they are 4 plays away, really, from being 0-6.
4
if you're
plays away
Eagles,
from not having 4 wins.
not at all. Like it's insane. It's insanity. And I think
Yeah.
what's even more insane is in that game, we watched them on 3rd and goal, run the tush push, don't get it. I'm sorry, on 3rd and 1, they run the tush push, don't get it. They come right back on 4th and inches, run the tush push, they get the first down. 1st and goal, they run the tush push, don't get it. 2nd and goal, run the tush push, touchdown. I was live on Stuff About Sports with
I
Burt
saw
and
it.
Durham as this was happening.
Germ was having a heyday.
As this was happening, I was literally giving a take, and I
Zeke
looked up.
Ellioting that thing.
I looked up and I'm like, that's the 3rd time they've run this play.
Yeah.
And you know the tush push? The tush push is going to cost the Philadelphia Eagles a championship. I really think it will. And you're like, how? They won a championship already. Here's what I mean by that. Think back to when the Seahawks faced the Patriots in the Super Bowl. And Pete Carroll said, you know what we're going to do? We have the best back in the league, but we're going to throw the ball on the goal line. Malcolm Butler gets a pick. The tush push is starting to become that, I feel like. The incessant spamming of the tush push over and over and over again when you have a guy in Saquon Barkley who's undeniably the best back in the NFL, it makes me question why we're doing that. Think about this, bro. Here's a crazy stat. Saquon Barkley's first carry from scrimmage, 18 yards, first down.
Yep.
His second carry, 13 yards, first down. The rest of the game, 10 carries, 27 yards. Now, if you want to give big ups to the Giants, run defense, you should, because their D-line is really, really good. But also, I'm looking at Kevin Pachulia. I'm like, what are we doing here? This is now
Yeah.
the second time in maybe 2 or 3 weeks where Saquon Barkley has had a lackluster game because he's just not getting touches. Either the game against the Broncos the week before that, he had 6 carries all game. Not 6 carries in the first quarter, not 6 carries on the first drive, not in the first
Yeah.
half. 6 carries all game. I'm starting to question the validity of the Eagles offense. And it takes me back to what I was saying at the beginning of the season. This is now what is this, year 6 for Jalen Hurts, year 5 for Jalen Hurts? This is the 5th year in a row where Jalen Hurts has entered a season with a different offensive coordinator. And Eagles fans said all year, oh, well, Kevin Patullo, who's already there, he already knows the system. He knows how to make it work. This offense, your guy, number 9, Hall of Famer, Drew Brees, after they were 4-0, went on national TV and said, this is the most boring offense in the NFL.
And people are saying, game for my life, give me Jalen Hurts over Drew Brees. Y'all don't even believe that.
You don't believe that. He got shredded for that.
Believe that,
and
bro.
Look at what we've gotten. We've got a loss to the Broncos and a pitiful performance against the New York Giants. When you take a look at who the Eagles have coming up, it makes you wonder, like, is this a bad omen? Is this a sign of things to come for the Philadelphia Eagles? They have a game against the Vikings next weekend. They have the Vikings, the Giants again, the Packers, and the Lions. Those are their next 4 games. All 4 of those games are losable games. The Giants offense has looked surprisingly good. The Vikings offense has looked surprisingly good, I will admit. Especially, they looked good without freaking JJ McCarthy, with the bones of Carson Wentz back there last week.
Yeah.
Got the Vikings. The Giants, we can see the Giants has what it takes to beat them. The Packers, bro, at this point, that's a toss-up, I think. I know that we have a bad loss against the Browns and a dumb tie against the Cowboys, but that is a winnable game for the Packers. The Lions are averaging 40 since losing to the Packers, and the Cowboys, we saw them almost beat them week 1 of the season. I don't know how you can be confident as an Eagles fan in this football team. And I don't think at this point that anyone can say in their right mind that the Philadelphia Eagles are the favorites, not even just to win the Super Bowl. I don't think they're the favorites to make it to the Super Bowl. I don't even think right now they're the favorites in their conference. And I think at this point, we might need to be having a conversation about whether or not the Eagles are the favorites in their division. That's how pitiful this offense has looked.
And that's how suspect they've looked through the first 6 weeks of the season, too. I mean, you said it very well. They are definitely just a few plays away from really being a winless football team. And you don't want to use this hindsight. You don't want to turn back the clock because you want to keep everything in context. But that's exactly what you're doing when you're talking about how they have played so far this season. And it's going to be crazy if the Eagles have a really nasty Super Bowl hangover. Like, I was thinking about it this morning. I woke up, getting the day started. I'm like, damn. Eagles just lost by 3 possessions to the Giants. And for some reason, my brain went to where the Rams went 5-12 the year after they won the Super Bowl. And I don't think that's in store for Philadelphia. But if they don't catch it quick, if they don't make some adjustments, Kevin Patullo's got a few more weeks. Like, the play calling, the execution's got to be better. Now you have the defense, which I'll get into some stats in a second, just not holding up for you in the game. It's very alarming for the Super Bowl champions. But this is another week, another embarrassing moment for me saying that Jaxson Dart was not a first-round quarterback, because look at the way that he is playing in the National Football League. This reminds me of Justin Herbert. Justin Herbert, on a moment's notice, had to go in and play Patrick Mahomes. Then he had to play Tom Brady. Not play him. This is not tennis. They don't one-on-one each other. But knowing that your production is going to be matched up against that other quarterback, it was Patrick Mahomes, then it was Tom Brady, then it was Drew Brees. Jaxson Dart comes into the NFL, starts against that Chargers defense, which is good, and wins. Goes up against the Saints defense, which obviously we embarrass him. And then he goes up against this Eagles defense. He just went up against probably 3 of the top 10 to 15 defensive units. And when you specifically look at the Eagles and the Chargers, if you don't want to give the Saints any respect, that's 2 of the top 10 defensive units in the league. I mean, look at who they're led by. Jesse Minter out of Michigan, who was a monster in college football and the best defensive coordinator in the National Football League in Vic Fangio. So Jaxson Dart is really getting his test up front. His pocket presence, his mobility is really good, but I think he'll have to get a little less anxious in the pocket as time goes on. I'm sensing some college football, backyard ball. We heard Kirk Herbstreit say it on the broadcast, and like, he's probably right. These guys really have to get those things worked out of them. But that first touchdown pass in the first quarter was immaculate with that pocket presence, rolling out, throwing a strike on the run. Like, that within itself, you watch the film on that, you study that, you'll understand who Jaxson Dart is, in a nutshell, really, as a quarterback. But this guy is saving Brian Daboll's job. I mean, everybody knew it was a foregone conclusion coming in. The Giants are going to clean house. The Giants will not draft a quarterback after bringing in Russell Wilson, knowing that Joe Shine and Brian Daboll are going to be fired. Well, Brian Daboll said, F that. I'm taking a gamble here. He goes and gets Jaxson Dart, and we see all the memes. Like, he's probably going to kiss Jaxson Dart on the nose in the next game when he throws a touchdown pass. Like, that's how much he loves this guy. And this is all happening 2 games in with no Malik Neighbors. So imagine when Neighbors comes back, because you got guys like Robinson who are stepping up. They need to get Jalen Hyatt out of the doghouse as well. He was a top receiver in the draft when he came in, one of the biggest burners out of Tennessee, obviously playing that high level of SEC football. I would love to see him get more action. But when you got guys like Lil Jordan Humphrey making plays over, yes, suspect Eagle secondary players, and then you even got guys like Darius Slayton who can make a play for you at times if you need it. Jaxson Dart on 3rd and 8, at the end of the 4th quarter, 2 rushers in his face, throws a dime to Theo Johnson for the first. I mean, this guy, again, week in, week out, making high-level plays as a rookie, and him playing in the SEC perfectly shows really in his NFL play early on. Now, he did get a little banged up in this game. That's always scary to see for a quarterback, especially for a young guy. Then Daboll's play calling got a little questionable as well, because Jaxson Dart comes back in. Then you have him running the ball, lowering his shoulder. It's just not smart play calling, considering he was coming from the blue tent. Speaking of that, we see Daboll absolutely freaking the hell out. NFL's actually like issuing a statement about it. Daboll's apologizing because all he had to see was 2 plays from Russell Wilson for him to be like, I'm about to get fired right now. If I don't get Jaxson Dart out of the blue tent, I might have John Mara call me right now and say, Brian Daboll, it's done. That was just the passion from Brian Daboll to know, like, this is my guy. Yeah. This is the guy that's going to not maybe take us to the promised land, but he's going to keep my salary intact. And he's going to make the New York Football Giants. They went from one of the most boring teams coming into this season, and now that everything is played out, they're one of the most exciting ones to watch. I mean, the memes on Skattebo itself are just absolute cinema. And speaking of Skattebo, how did this guy fall to the 4th round, or the 5th round, actually? No, I think it was the 4th. Let me correct myself. Considering the running back that he was in college, because the way he's playing now is exactly how he played at Arizona State, and now he's playing at an even higher level, at the highest level in the NFL. And the Giants probably might have had the best NFL draft of the year. Abdul Carter and Jaxson Dart alone, just those 2 guys in the 1st round. Then you pull Skattebo, Neighbors last year, Jalen Hyatt a couple years ago. Like, this team is primed. And then you talk about the front 4. We talk about the cornerback room. You got Paulson Adebo. You got Javon Holland. Obviously, that front 4 is miraculous. Like, this is a serious football team. This is a serious football team for years to come. They're not championship level. They're not, contenders. But if they mess around and they're just a couple of wins out of first place in the division, or if they, for some reason, in a weird NFL season with the NFC conference, are able to make the playoffs, I don't think anybody is surprised. Now let's talk about the Eagles here, because their offense was just non-existent in the second half. Clearly, they were scoreless after halftime. On 3rd down, they were 0 for 6 in the second half and 1 for 9 overall. 2 turnovers, the awful Jalen Hurts interception where he actually missed A.J. Brown wide open over the middle of the field in the end zone. Would have been an easy touchdown. A.J. Dillon fumbled as well. Let's keep it on Jalen Hurts here for a second. People are saying he played a bad football game. I think to say that Jalen played a bad football game is a bit of a stretch. He did not play well. He threw a bad interception on a wide open touchdown pass where if he would have just had the vision, and then he overthrew Smitty. So he left 14 points, or at least 12, not counting the extra points on the board. So that's a big swing. But it's hard for me to say that Jalen played bad. He definitely didn't play well, but I don't think this is a bad performance like DJ Lagway, 5 interceptions against LSU. That's a bad quarterback performance. That's really an abysmal, inexcusable, unforgettable quarterback performance. But I don't believe Jalen Hurts just had one of those. A.J. Brown, 1 catch, 7 yards on 4 targets. Devontae Smith, 2 catches for 25 yards on 3 targets. And then Dallas Goedert was the guy of the night. Just in the second half, 3 catches, 60 yards on 4 targets. All of those reception yards and targets were second half numbers as well. And the Saquon Barkley mismanagement, like you mentioned, is just absolutely insane. But I think it's really time to have a serious discussion about Kevin Patullo. And it's not an overreaction, because the standards are sky high in Philly this year. Like, you were expecting to get back to the Super Bowl. You were expecting to win the Super Bowl. 2 losses on a short week and 6 weeks of uneven offensive play. Like, this game is going to fall mostly on the execution of the players, because, again, 2 touchdowns left on the board. The calls are there. The execution has to be pulled off. But to see Philadelphia's O-line actually struggle big time in this game, and the lack of continuity is really alarming, considering the names and the reputations of those guys. little bit for the Giants defense as well. I thought they got amazing pressure on Jalen Hurts to force that interception. I think they rushed 6 or 7 out of the box, and clearly Jalen just wasn't able to see that vision right in front of him. And then they had another amazing play to strip AJ Dillon right before he goes down. The Eagles have been outgained in every single game this year, and they have a negative 1-point differential. Here's just a few stats to really encapsulate what the Eagles have been over 6 games. Jalen Hurts now on passes 10 yards downfield in 2025. He's 10 of 28. He's 35th in completion rate. He's 30th in accuracy on these throws. He's averaging 5 yards a game past the sticks on throws, and the Eagles passing offense is 28th in the NFL. I'm not saying that Jalen Hurts is a bad deep ball thrower, because I think if you look at passes 25 plus yards downfield, Jalen throws those very, very well. He throws those very well, and everybody knows that. Like, that's not a mystery for Jalen Hurts being a good deep ball thrower. But overall, Philly's defense in this game, 366 yards given up, 25 first downs given up, 11 of 16 on third down, 172 rushing yards, and 4 rushing touchdowns, actually, 1 to Jaxson Dart, 3 to Cam Skattebo. They allowed 100% red zone scoring. No Jalen Carter. No Quinyon Mitchell was definitely showing heavily in this ball game. Q Mitch went out with a hamstring. Jalen Carter actually did not play in this game. And apparently, the game being played in MetLife Stadium actually had a big reason as to why Jalen Carter didn't want to suit up and get out there. So you guys let us know down in the comments what you thought of the Thursday night football matchup as the Giants come out and smack around the Super Bowl champions by 3 possessions, 34-17.